Hey guys, what's up? Today we are going to be reviewing the movie Guns Akimbo. That movie was super awesome. I just got through watching it and I enjoyed it so much. When I originally seen the trailer, I was like, I know I'm going to love this movie. It's got all the things for the making of a fun movie, and that's exactly what it was. An incredibly fun movie. It When I'd seen the trailer, or when I started watching the movie even, it kind of reminded me of a mix of the movie Nerve and Scott Pilgrim, but extremely gory and just insane. I mean, maybe that's not the best comparison, but in my opinion, it was pretty crazy. It stars Daniel Radcliffe, who is the man, because I just love Daniel Radcliffe. He's crazy awesome actor. Samara Weaving as well, who we just watched a movie with, I believe. What did I just watch with her? Hide and Seek. I think that was a movie. Oh, Ready or Not. I think that was a movie. Hide and Seek is a game they played. It also includes Natasha Lou Bardizzo. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name right. And the main enemy is Ned Dennehy. Also not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly or not, because I suck at names. Now, talking about this movie, it was awesome. Spoiler free at first. It was awesome. I enjoyed it. It was so much fun. I knew it was going to be a good movie. A lot of over the top things, but it worked. It worked surprisingly well, because this movie just isn't an action movie. It's like an action comedy movie. It's a movie you can laugh at and enjoy. If you want a movie that you can just have fun with, this is the best. The word I would describe this movie is fun. It had an awesome soundtrack that I really enjoyed. It had crazy good camera work and aesthetics. Normally that's something I don't notice. I'm just like a dumb ape who sits and watches a movie and oh, good movie good. But I never noticed that kind of stuff. But in this movie, I actually did. The first thing I noticed was this blaring music that was this one's a real good soundtrack, the soundtrack really fit to the movie. And the aesthetics and camera work was awesome. Normally, like I said, that's something I don't notice in movies is camera work, because, who really notices camera work? I'm not that cool. I'm not that hipster. I don't notice that stuff. But this movie had awesome camera work. So awesome that it actually made me notice it. Now, I'm not sure if anybody else has watched it yet, but I enjoyed it. Maybe I'm just a little too high on it because I love Daniel Radcliffe. He's awesome. He's not just Harry Potter to me. He is an awesome actor. The thing that I find funny is when he's walking around in this movie, you can totally see how short he is. Because he's a very short guy, believe it or not. He's 5'5", 5'6", something like that. I feel his pain because pretty much the same height as him, just not as magical. I'm not a wizard, Harry. I'm just a short piece of garbage. Now, Daniel is awesome in this movie. He plays a character of... why am I blanking this right now? It's 6 a.m. I'm sorry, guys. He plays the character of Miles, and Miles is He works in a video game developing company who develops games. Now, they develop games for mobile, so it's like app games. They probably have tons of ads on their stupid games. There's nothing more I hate than playing a game on your phone with a million ads. If I want to play a game for 5 seconds, watch 30 seconds of ad just to continue the game, I am going to rate you 1 star and uninstall you. I just got real for a second, and I am sorry, but this is something that pisses me off. Now, back to the movie. Back to Smiles. Daniel Radcliffe plays Miles. His ex-girlfriend is played by Natasha Lou Bardizzo, who goes by the name of Nova, her character. And another of the main characters' name is Nix, who is played by Samara Weaving. And the bad guy is Ned Dennehy, who I don't remember his name. I think it was something that starts with an R. Now, as I said, Daniel Radcliffe, his character is working in a video game company. He's kind of a pushover type guy in real life, the typical, kind of lives a rough life. His girlfriend just left him a while ago, and he's just down in the dumps. And how does he take out his stress? He goes home and crap posts on the internet, just like everybody else. He goes home, comments on stuff, and makes fun of things, and is a total troll. He is a troll master. So one day he's trolling on Schism. Schism is apparently a website that is obviously a black market, illegal type deal stuff that sets two people against each other to kill each other, and whoever wins. I don't know if they win money. I don't know what the circumstances are. Depends, because our main characters had different reasons for having to deal with this. But he crap posts on Schism, and also, might I add, that's a weird name, Schism, and yeah, he gets the wrong people mad. The admin of Schism, gets extremely mad at him and is like, oh, he doesn't get that mad. He just trolls him back. And then next thing you know, his door just gets knocking on, and Daniel looks out the door, and hey, it's Schism people, and they bust down his door and, beat the crap out of him, which, I mean, who wouldn't want to do that to every troll who posts online and insults people, I have a crappy life, but I don't go around and troll on the internet because I'm not that cool. And I don't know what to say because people can make fun of me more than I can make fun of them because I suck. But Daniel Radcliffe, he does an awesome American accent. I don't get how foreign actors and British actors and Australians can do accents so perfectly, because I can't do an accent to save my life. When I try and do a British accent, it just sounds like this, and it sounds a little crazy, mate. Like, what does this even mean? This is stupid. Like, that sounds stupid. Like, I can't do accents to save my life. Maybe I can do one eventually when I get better at accents, but I don't try because it's just weird. Back to the movie. Yeah, so he gets knocked out by these people. Guns are bolted to his hand, nailed to his hands, and he is forced to take part in Schism. His opponent is Nyx. Now, of course, him being a pushover, he doesn't know how to use a gun, he doesn't know how to do anything, so he has to deal with this crappy circumstance. I'm not going to get into exactly what happens quite yet, but I will say it's pretty entertaining. There's a lot of funny parts. Watching him, it even shows on trailer, watching him try and, open a door, or, at one point he goes to, use the washroom, and he can't be using guns. And just watching him try and do all of this is super funny and super entertaining. I will give him props, though. He did a pretty good job peeing with guns. I mean, half the guys in the world can't even pee without guns strapped to their hands. They pee all over the seats and stuff like that. That's a funny joke. I mean, I don't pee on the seat, but once again, getting sidetracked. There's a lot of funny things. There's a lot of action. Some of the action is over the top, but entertaining. So now, I would have to say I would rate this movie a 9. 9 out of 10. I enjoyed it probably a lot more than a lot of people will, but maybe it's just because I have a bias for Daniel Radcliffe because he's awesome, or maybe it's just because the movie was so fun and it's 6 a.m. and I really enjoyed the craziness of it. I thought it was great. Now I'm going to start getting into some spoilers and talk about the story more. So, as I said, he has to deal with the Schism stuff and go against Nyx. Now, there's some funny parts with Nyx and some funny parts with Daniel and etc., etc. There's a lot of funny stuff that I'll bring up later on, but there's some scenes that were a little bit less believable. The first time you see Nyx, she's a total badass, shooting 30 guys like John Wick style. She is going left, right, shooting pow pow everywhere, landing every single shot. But the first time she sees Daniel Radcliffe, she misses every single shot. That being said, I was like, what? How did you miss that? You're a badass and you shoot 30 guys, and then you miss this dude who can barely even do a single thing with his guns or anything. Now, he walks around for more than quarter of this movie in just a robe, some shorts, and some big fuzzy slippers that's got little dinosaur claws on them. I love those slippers. They are awesome. I wish he had kept that the entire movie, because that would have been hilarious, but sadly he does change in it, courtesy of a homeless guy he meets who is just a crazy crackhead. There's some really funny scenes with the crazy crackhead, and some pretty funny innuendos all throughout the movie that some of them don't even get called out, but you notice them and you're like, ha, that's what she said. But I thought it was funny. I enjoyed it. It was pretty crazy. The action scenes were awesome. Like I said, the music was great. There's some scenes that, like I said, like the whole, Nick's missing every shot. That was like, oh, okay, but I can get past it. There's also another scene that I was kind of like, okay, how is this doable? At one scene, Daniel Radcliffe is trying to escape the police. Now, throughout the movie, he's said to have had a asthma problem. He's also portrayed as a nerd who just sits at home like shit posting all day and, works in a video game company. So how is it he is able to outrun a police officer? That's what I don't get. He outruns the police officer, even just for a few moments, but it still counts. He outran the police officer, falls over, the police officer comes there and tases him, which I don't understand why he pulled out taser, because he had a gun out like 30 seconds ago, and like, you're not gonna tase a dude with guns. Like, that's not how cops work. You shoot a guy with guns or tell him to put the guns down. But no, he tases Daniel, and Daniel accidentally shoots him in the shoulder. Of course, the cop survives, and Daniel's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, and it was really funny just watching his reaction to that. It was pretty good. He runs away, and tries to, he ends up meeting up with his girlfriend, or I should say his ex-girlfriend. He meets up with his ex-girlfriend, and he tries to explain it to her, what's going on, as Nyx is still chasing him in the process, and it's pretty funny just watching him freak out, and seeing her reaction is like, kind of like, okay, this is kind of weird, this is kind of a mistake, but there's a part where he tries to explain it to her, and is like, hey, that schism, and she's just like, oh no, please don't tell me you signed up to that, and he's just like, no, they kind of forced me, and he tries to explain it to her, and he even says, don't freak out, and he pulls his guns out of his pocket that has strapped to his hands, and she freaks out immediately. I mean, he was trying to explain to her, like, why didn't she listen? I just thought that was kind of weird, but, I mean, if you put yourself in her shoes, I guess, talking to an ex-boyfriend and then he has guns, that sounds a little bit sketchy to me, but she freaks out, calls the cops, and he runs away, kind of thing. Yeah, throughout that part, like I said, he changes his clothes, and there's some crazy over-the-top action scenes, and there was one scene in specific where Daniel Radcliffe is in, like, it looks like a junkyard, and in the junkyard, he comes across these two, like, gangs that seem to be doing a drug deal, and he walks up on them by accident, and as he walks up on them, they're all, like, freaking out, being like, who's this weird guy, and they all point their guns at him, and they start arguing with each other, like, I thought he was is he your guy? Like, are you double-crossing me, kind of thing? And Nyx comes in with a chain gun randomly, like, because he's being tracked on his phone, but, like, she has a chain gun, and I don't know how she just magically gets all these crazy weapons. I mean, it shows in some scenes how she gets some weapons, but, like, she comes up with a chain gun, and there's a really funny line that I really enjoyed, where he's down on his knees, and he has his hands up with his guns, of course, and she comes out with his chain gun as these gangsters are pointing their guns at him, and she's just like, no one killing him, and his reaction was just, like, the most genuine, like, happy, like, yay. And then she finishes her sentence, except for me, of course, and that just made me laugh, because it was just so entertaining just to hear Daniel Radcliffe's, like, happy yay, only to be disappointed. There's a couple cops in this movie that are more than just, like, kind of, like, side characters. Well, bystanders, I guess you could say. A couple, like, detectives or whatever. They gave me the, like, these guys are gonna be bad guys vibe, but, throughout the whole movie, I was like, I'm waiting, these guys are turning, now it's 50% right, I was half right, and that's half a good thing. One of the cops was working for Schism, of course, and the other cop was, surprising plot twist, Nix's father. Now you find out Nix's past is a bit more darker than you think. I mean, there's some some little things where she gets afraid of fire that you see, that you notice on a certain scene especially, and it's does she think she's like Freddy Krueger or something and she's afraid of fire? No, but apparently her past was I don't know, she's her dad, her mom, and she had a brother or something like that. Their car got blown up by the evil Ned Dennehy. I'm not sure his character's name, like I said. And as it got blown up or whatever, I guess the father survived and he was able to save his daughter, aka Nix. And Daniel Radcliffe finds this out and he's just like, Nix is your daughter? And they talk about it kind of thing, and he's just like, yeah. So you find out that Nix was after that, never the same. She was kind of a problem child and ended up in juvie kind of thing. And after the juvie, she escaped, and Ned Dennehy, Mr. Bad Guy, caught her and added her to Schism. Daniel Radcliffe has some speculations as to why, and it makes sense. Now, the other cop turns on the other cop and shoots him in the head, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, see, I knew it. I knew this guy was bad. Shoots Nix's dad in the head. Now, that kind of helped the story progress, because if that didn't happen, Nix would never help out Daniel Radcliffe. They ended up kind of teaming up and working together to decide to fight Ned Dennehy. Now, Nova, aka Daniel Radcliffe's ex-girlfriend, gets captured by Ned Dennehy and used against him. So, of course, he is in it full on to save her. Now, there was a very entertaining scene of which Nix and Daniel Radcliffe burst into the scene of bad guys, I don't know, evil secret lair full of bad guys. The way they actually team up to do all this was so entertaining and so fun. Daniel Radcliffe basically plays a dead body for a few seconds, kind of like he did in that Swiss Army Man movie, but not as long. Never actually seen that movie. Maybe I should watch that. So there's a scene where one of the bad guys legit comes running at them with a fork. With a fork. Not a knife, not anything. No, I'm pretty sure it was a plastic fork. And Daniel Radcliffe just shoots him, and they're like, what was he thinking, And you can't help but think, what was he thinking? That was super funny. They also make a really funny joke about YouTube comments, which I thought was really entertaining, because it was a total ha ha ha, that's a good one. As they're looking at the comments, and Daniel Radcliffe has this long speech being like, I can't believe you people are watching this and supporting this and stuff, and all the comments were being really mean and stuff like that. They were trolling him, ironically, and he's like, this is worse than a YouTube comment system, and then he waits for a second, and he's like, actually, it's about the same, and that just made me chuckle, because, I've seen some YouTube comments, and they are highly entertaining and highly funny, but, yeah, it's a very toxic environment sometimes. There's also a very funny scene in which Nix is fighting this Mohawk guy with a beard, and he pulls out a hammer, and he's makes the best pun ever, and he's like, stop, hammer time. And that just made me laugh, because I love bad puns, because bad puns are funny. They're hilarious, and I will never stop making them. I annoy everybody with them. There's also, in that exact scene, a little bit weird, that kind of the only part that was a little bit too over the top for me. She's obviously a crackhead. I don't know why I said obvious. I mean, I think she shaved her eyebrows for this role. It kind of looked weird, but she looked pretty rough. But she snorts crack during this fight and goes Superman crackhead. She lifts up the hammer and poses like Thor, and she's holding Mjolnir or whatever, and it's just okay, you're not Chris Hemsworth, that's a little weird, and it's just a funny scene. Now, the second funny scene that was there's many funny scenes. Another funny scene that I really enjoyed is when one of the bad guys were stepping on Daniel Radcliffe's hands, and she had him pinned down to the ground, Her feet were on his gun hands, and he's looking up at her, and they're kind of arguing, and he gets so mad he decides to, like, attempt to spit in her face. But I mean, she's way too high. He just spits up, and the spit lands on his face, and it just made me laugh. I was like, okay, that's great. Now, more spoilers, obviously, this whole part is spoilers. Nyx dies, sadly. She sacrifices herself in order for Daniel to make it through, because he's running out of bullets, make it through to save Nova and kill Mr. Ned Dennehy. They have an awesome showdown on the roof, which they call out the roof showdown, which is pretty funny. They have this awesome showdown. It's nothing too crazy, like nothing like, oh, I know karate, like no SpongeBob karate or anything like that. But like, they have a good fight. Daniel ends up beating the crap out of him, getting shot multiple times, but throws him off a roof, and he just, turns into a pancake. Now, Daniel, of course, survives. He falls down to the ground, and he calls out, like, the typical, like, scenes in the movies where it's like, good guy saves the girl, and the girl runs up to him and gives him kisses and hugs and stuff like that, and they do this little scene that was really funny, and he's like, nah, that's not really how it goes. She's terrified because she just witnessed her ex-boyfriend, like, straight up murder a dude, and she probably has PTSD, and he's bleeding to death on the floor, almost going unconscious. And I thought that was really funny, because, like, in that moment, I'm just like, yeah, how many people would be freaking out, and how many people would actually be, like, acting like nothing just happened? No, he called it out perfectly, and I thought that was gold. Now, he survives at the end, and basically it is said that there is more. There will be a Guns Akimbo 2. I hope to gosh, because I enjoyed this movie so much. But they basically say that Schism is still continuing all over the world under different people, and it's become like a giant organization, and he vows to stop it. So he looks like a badass, all like scarred up, and he's ready to fight it. And it was awesome. That was the end of the movie. Like I said, maybe I enjoyed it more than others will, but I thought it was super fun. It was something to watch that's just like pointless fun that you can just laugh at, enjoy the action, enjoy the colors, because there's a lot of like neon type, like cyberpunk neon colors kind of thing. I don't know if I'm describing this right. If you watch it, you'll know what I mean. The soundtrack was great. Everything was just so much fun. The acting was on par. Is that the right thing to say? On par? Is par good? I don't know golf. I don't know that term. I don't know why I'm using that term. I don't know. But it was good. Acting was good. A lot of the action scenes were good. It was really fun. You can't go wrong. Like, if you guys watch it, let me know what you guys think. Tell me what you think. Are you guys excited if there is a Guns Akimbo 2? Do you want a Guns Akimbo 2? Or do you think that it should just end right there? Because, I mean, there's no guarantee that there's going to be a second one, but it definitely has potential to make a second one, especially with the ending being so open-ended. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Tell me what scenes were your favorite. I don't know. I liked a lot. There's not really one I could pick in specific, but yeah, I enjoyed talking about it. So if you guys enjoyed it, let me know what you think. And I guess that's it for tonight. So have a good night, or if it's morning, have a good morning. I will see you guys in the next review or video. I have no idea what I'm doing next. Probably another review. We'll see what happens. Alright guys, good night and peace.